Happy Sunday, everyone. Welcome back to another video. My name is Tawanda, and this is Tawanda's Blessed Life. And for today's video, I have my top 10 favorite DIYs for 2024 to get you all inspired for the Christmas season and to also get ready to start creating some Christmas DIYs. We're going to go ahead and jump into today's video. I hope you all enjoy. DIY for today, I have these little, I don't even know what they are. I believe they come off like some type of light fixture. I'm not sure. I got these from the Repurpose Project probably about 2 or 3 years ago. I can't remember how many I picked up, but I purchased them to do like one of those rainwater catchment DIYs. And then I have some bottle brush trees that I just kind of picked up. They're from like everywhere, so I just grabbed a couple of them. And then I have my hot glue gun. So I have my gold and black rubbing buff. I'm actually not going to use that. I'm just going to go ahead and just start hot gluing the trees to the top of, I'm going to call these little things, these little risers, stands. So I'm just going to go ahead and just start hot gluing my trees to the stands. And that's really going to be it for this DIY. It's going to be really easy and simple. I wanted to place some of the bottle brush trees on my bookshelf in my living room, but I didn't want to hot glue them to my my brass lamp, my brass candle holders, excuse me. So I thought this would be a better option. So I went ahead and just grabbed a couple of them out of my shed to create these DIYs. And these are DIYs that can be used throughout winter because, I mean, who doesn't like to see little Christmas trees with I have this Dollar Tree pillow cover, and I also have 2 transfers that I'm going to use. I'm going to flip the pillow cover over, and then I'm going to go ahead and use my press to get the wrinkles out. The transfers came from Amazon. We use these to create a couple of t-shirts for Christmas when we do family activities. So these are the ones that I picked for the activity we did for Thanksgiving. So I'm going to go ahead and just line them up. I'm going to use 2 different transfers. They're from 2 different packs. And so I'm going to go ahead and just start off by holding the heat press on each section for about 10 seconds. And then once I have that complete, I'm going to go back and go ahead and remove the plastic covering. So you'll see me here doing that here shortly. And then once I remove the plastic covering, here I'm taking that off now. So once I get this off, I'm going to go ahead and apply the second one to the bottom half of the pillowcase. And I can't wait for y'all to see how this turned out. It is so cute. I absolutely love it. So I did have a little bit of difficulty getting it off completely. So I did just add a little bit of heat to it. And then it just came off just fine. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing with the second half of the heat press of the transfer, excuse me. So this one has like some coffee cups on it, and then it has a couple of little pictures of the Grinch coming out of the coffee cups. And I'm just going to go ahead and do the same thing, hold it for 10 seconds on each section, and I'm going to go ahead and remove the plastic. And that is going to be it for this DIY. Really cute and easy and extremely budget friendly, with the pillowcase costing like $1.25 at Dollar Tree, and then the transfers costing a couple of cents each. This picture frame from Dollar Tree, and then I have these gift bags from Bell's Outlet. I paid $2.99 for both bags, and it's a set of 2. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the tag, and I'm trying to decide which one I'm going to use. I'm actually going to use this one here. I'm going to go ahead and just try and figure out how I want to use my picture frame, if I want to use it horizontally or vertically. So here I'm just trying to figure out that out. And then once I have that complete, I'm going to go ahead and cut my picture out. And then I'm going to go ahead and just add it to the frame.
And then once I have it added to the frame, I'm going to take the rest of the body. So here I'm just showing you what it looks like. So I'm going to take the rest of those fingers and the rest of the half of the body at the bottom. I'm going to use some of my outdoor Mod Podge to attach it to the frame, and I'm using the outdoor Mod Podge only because it's a lot thicker than the regular Mod Podge, and this bag is really thick, so I just want to make sure that it actually stays on, because I'm only going to do it on the back side of the gift bag and not on the front side. So yeah, so I am going to go ahead and just start applying that. And then while I'm doing that, I just want to thank you all for watching today's video. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. Thank you for stopping by. And if you're already subscribed, thank you for continuing to support my channel. I do really appreciate it. Here I'm just adding a generous amount of Mod Podge to his fingers and his face. I'm going to go ahead and just apply that to the side of the frame, and that is going to be it for this DIY. I think it is so cute, and I love using gift bags to create DIYs because it is an easy way to create some beautiful artwork and extremely budget friendly. So you'll have to let me know what you think about this DIY. Today, so I have some more of that berry garland, and I have this gift bag. It came from Joann's, and then I have this picture frame. I went ahead and took the picture out of it. I got this from an estate sale. I think I paid $2 for it. So I went ahead and cut the bag, and then this is the inside of the bag that I'm going to be using for the top, because my bag was a little bit too short. So I went ahead and just cut a couple of strips off of the inside of the bag, or the corners of the bag, I should say. So I'm going to go ahead and just hot glue those to the top of my piece of cardboard here. And then once I have that done, I'm going to take my gift bag and hot glue that on top. So you'll see just a little bit of the green and gold pattern at the top. So I'm just going to go ahead and just try and figure out how I'm going to place it. And then once I get proper placement, I'm going to go ahead and just start to hot glue my bag to the top of my strips of bag. I guess that's what I'm going to say. So I'll go ahead and start to hot glue that. And while you're watching me hot glue that, if you're new to my channel, welcome. Thank you for stopping by. And if you're already subscribed, thank you for continuing to support my channel. I do really appreciate it. And I would also just like to apologize for the quality of this video. I had to use my camera to record this video. I am actually waiting on my new phone to arrive. Hopefully it'll get here next week. So yeah, so this is what it's currently looking like after I went ahead and got everything hot glued together. So I'm going to go ahead and place it inside of my frame, and then this is what it looks like, and I think it looks so good. And then I'll go ahead and close those little, I don't know what those little metal pieces are, but the little tags to keep it, to hold the pictures in. So, and then I'm going to take my berry garland, and I'm going to go ahead and just start to hot glue it onto my picture. So I'm going to drape it like I'm draping garland on a real tree. So I'm just going to do like on the ends of each one. I'm not going to do all of it. I'm just going to do like a little dot of glue, and then just put the attach the garland that way, so that it's kind of like flowy, I guess is what I'm trying to go for here. And then once I have that complete, I'm going to go ahead and take the gift tag that came with the bag, and I'm going to also use some of the berry garland, and I'm going to hot glue that to the top of my bag. So you'll see me here doing that here shortly. And And this is what it looks like after I have all of the berry garland draped across my tree. I think it looks so good. And then here's my little gift tag. So I'm going to go ahead and just cover those two holes up top on the from the gift bag with the berry garland and with the gift tag. So you'll see me here just placing some hot glue where that the hole is, and I'm just going to cover it with that berry garland. I'm going to do the same thing with the other hole also. And then once I have my tag and my berry garland hot glued to the top of my picture, I'm going to go back. As you can see, my picture frame does have some little areas that need some touch up. So what I'm going to do is take some of the gold rubbing buff, and I'm going to go ahead and just apply that to the gold areas of my frame. And that is going to be it for this DIY. I absolutely love the way that these turned out. They're really simple and neutral in color, and I think this is going to go well in our bedroom. So I can't wait to use these items to decorate. I think I'm going to put these, I'm thinking about placing them all on my fireplace in my bedroom, but I'm not sure yet. But I think that's probably where I'm going to put all 4 of these DIYs. So hopefully by the time this video is done, maybe I'll have my bedroom decorated for Christmas, and I can show you all how I will style it in my room. So yeah, we'll have to, hopefully I'll be able to get that complete. So you'll have to let me know what you think about this DIY. I absolutely love the way that it turned out. And we're going to go ahead and move on to our 4th DIY for today. I actually was going to do a different DIY, but I ended up changing my mind last minute. So I can't wait for y'all to see how this turned out.
I have this basket ornament, and then I have the wooden pieces out of the nativity scene. All of this came from Hobby Lobby. And then I have some ribbon that came from Joann's. So here I'm just trying to find proper placement for my Mary, Joseph, and Jesus to go in my little, I believe this is a Tabasco basket ornament. So I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to place everything. And then once I figure it out, I'm going to take out my nativity scene, and I'm going to go ahead and start to stain it with some of the Waverly Antique Wax. And then once after it's stained and dry, I'm going to go ahead and hot glue it to my little basket. I'm also going to remove the twine hanger and replace it with a piece of the red velvet to make a new hanger. And then once I have that complete, I thought it needed something else. So I took one of my little wooden snowflakes, and then I used some of the antique Waverly Wax on it also. And then I took a little wooden bead and hot glued it onto my, then I hot glued the bead onto the snowflake, and then to give it a little bit of leverage. And then once that was complete, I went ahead and hot glued it to the basket just to, I used the snowflake as my star. And so here I am just tying my bow. I just wanted to make sure that I had it centered because the twine bow was not. And then I'm going to go ahead and add my star, and that is going to be it. So yeah. And then here's my little star that I'm going to be adding, which is also snowflakes. I'm just going to go ahead and, like I said, I'm going to hot glue the wooden bead to the back of the snowflake just to give it some height. So you'll have to let me know what you think about this DIY. I absolutely love it. I thought about adding a bow to the corner, but I just kind of like the simple look of it all. So yeah, let me know what you think about this DIY.
So I have this spool, and then I have the rest of the gift tag. I have a wooden wreath, and then I also have, I believe it's like the lid to one of those candles that you place on a candle. So what I'm going to do is take my gift tag, and I'm going to cut it to size to fit on top of the spool, the ribbon spool. And then I'm going to hot glue it to the spool. And this is going to be my take on the busted canvas. I believe that's what it's called. But I won't be using a canvas, of course. So once I have it hot glued, I'm going to go ahead and place that lid on top of my my spool so that you can see the little snowman's face. And then once I have it like I want it and make sure that I have proper placement, I'm going to go ahead and hot glue the spool to the lid. And this is going to be an ornament, so I'm just going to call it an ornament. So then I'm going to take the wooden wreath and I'm going to hot glue it to just on top of my ornament. And then I was going to use this ribbon that came off of the wreath, but then I just decided I needed something a little bit more larger. So here I am just using the larger satin ribbon. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut it to size. And then once I had that complete, I decided the back of it needed something also. So I had some scrapbook paper. So I went ahead and just used that to cover the back. I have this rope from Dollar Tree and I went ahead and just cut it in half, and then I'm going to use my hot glue gun and I'm going to use some Mod Podge. So I'm going to start off by hot gluing the rope into a circle. Basically, I'm going to create a couple of coasters. I love creating coasters for the holidays. And while I was cleaning up my craft room, I looked at this rope and I thought, that would be interesting to create a coaster out of. So here we are, creating a coaster. So I'm going to go ahead and just use the hot glue to glue it all together to get the shape that I want. And then once everything is hot glued all together, then I'm going to go back and I'm going to use some of my, I think I'm going to use the outdoor Mod Podge. It is thicker than the normal Mod Podge. So I'm going to go ahead and just apply that to my coaster. Now I did add, I think I put a little bit too much, but I did want this to stay together and I wanted it to be protected. So I'm going to start off by applying the Mod Podge first before I add any paint or any markers to create my snowman face, only because I didn't want it to smear, and I didn't want it to kind of just not stay in the place where I wanted it to be. So this is what the finished product looked like before I started to draw my snowman face. So here I have I have a black paint marker. I could not find my orange paint marker. I think it might be in my shed. So I'm going to use an orange Sharpie. And so I have this little wooden piece that I'm going to go ahead and trace out my eyes. And so once I have that, my eyes traced out, I'm going to go ahead and use my black paint pen and I'm going to go ahead and start to color in my eyes. And then I'm going to go ahead and draw my mouth, and I'm going to use a Sharpie to create my nose. And then that's going to be it for the DIY as far as that part goes. And then I let it dry for almost 2 days, because I just wanted to make sure that when I went back to go cover it with another coat of Mod Podge, that that it didn't smear. And the paint marker did not, but the Sharpie did a little bit. So once I have everything drawn in, so here I am, and this was kind of difficult to do because it's not a flat surface, so it did take a little bit of time with me trying to color in the eyes and draw the mouth and the nose, but I still think that they came out cute, and I wanted to really make sure that they were protected, so that's why I did this the way that I'm doing it. So this is what it looks like currently. And then, like I said, a couple of days later, I went back and went over it with another coat of Mod Podge. Now, the second coat of Mod Podge, I'm just going to use regular matte Mod Podge because I wanted to try and take off some of the shine. But, and I didn't do as much. I just did like a really thin layer just to make sure that everything was protected. And that is going to be it for this DIY. So you'll have to let me know what you think. This is my inspiration picture that I'm using, or my dupe that I'm going to use. So I have this frame that I picked up from Hobby Lobby. I've had it for several years now, and then I went online on Etsy and I found this print, and I paid $3.40 or $3.25 for it. And so I went ahead and sent it over to Walgreens to have them print out the poster for me. And I ended up paying $6 for the poster. I think the original price of the picture at Kirkland's was, I think it was $69.99. And then there was a 15% off coupon. So it still would have been like over 50 bucks. And so I figured this was the best match of that picture. And then here's my frame. So here I'm just trying to make sure that everything fits properly before I go ahead and cut everything. So now that I have it cut, I'm going to just use this little razor blade X-Acto knife from Dollar Tree to go ahead and cut the excess off of the poster. And I'm going to go back and add my frame. And that's going to be it for this DIY. I actually thought about staining the frame, but the frame on the Kirkland's picture is like almost the same color, so I just decided to leave it. So you'll have to let me know what you think about this DIY. I absolutely love it, and I really love the price of this DIY. Today, so I have these pumpkins that I was going to use for a fall DIY, but I never got to it, so I am going to use this to make a snowman. So I started off by taking the pumpkins and I spray painted them with some of the white Rust-Oleum spray paint, and then I went back and gave them a coat of the satin. So here I am now. I'm going to be using one of those seafoam sponges and some plaster paint. I'm just going to just dab all over all of my pumpkins. I like to use these seafoam sponges because it gives the whatever it is that you're using, it gives it texture. So as you can see here, and this is what it looks like after everything is completely dry. So I have this scrap fabric that I'm going to use, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn it into I'm going to make a flower using this fabric. So here I am, just kind of, I'm going to fold it in half, and I'm going to just do like a small triangle, and then I am going to roll it a little bit just to make the little bud on the inside. And then I'm just going to start to twist and roll it to create my flower. I do have a video of me making flowers, so I'll probably go ahead and just I'll go ahead and link that video so that you all can see how I made it, and it'll give you better directions or instructions. So I'm just here just twisting everything together. Then I decided I probably should use some hot glue. It's easier to use ribbon with the it's easier to create these flowers using ribbon than it is to use fabric, but I wanted to use this ribbon. So, and I think this is like the, not ribbon, excuse me, this is homespun fabric. So this is what my flower is currently looking like. I'm going to go ahead and just cut off the excess, and then I have this hat that came from Dollar Tree, and I went ahead and just tied a little bow on top of the hat, and I'm going to go ahead and hot glue my flower to the top of my hat. And now what I'm doing is I'm going to go ahead and create my nose. So I have this craft stick, so I'm going to go ahead and just cut it to the size, and then I'm going to kind of like just cut the tip of it a little bit, not the tip, but like on top of it, just to give it some little jagged edges like you would see like on a carrot. And then once I have that done, I'm going to go ahead and use some of the pumpkin paint, and I'm going to mix it with some of the burnt umber paint. And I'm just going to just dab it all over my nose until I'm happy with my results.
So once I'm finished painting my nose and and I have it drying, I'm going to go ahead and start to create my face. So here I am just trying to make sure that my hat, everything fits. And I'm just going to try and place everything on just to make sure that it looks like how I want it to look. So here I am just adding my little hat. I think it's so cute. And so my buttons came from, there's like a little, well, we don't have it here anymore, but we used to have like a little antique store here. And a couple years back, I went in and brought a mason jar that was filled with buttons. So these are some of the buttons that came from that store. And there's my little nose. I'm going to go ahead and start to apply my face to my snowman using some hot glue. And then the other buttons, some of these buttons are a mixture from, none of my buttons match, but these are a mixture of some Dollar Tree buttons and buttons from the antique store. So I'm going to use 5 buttons total. So I'm going to go ahead and start to hot glue those to create my mouth. Now, I was going to add a little bit of pink paint just to give it some cheeks, but I actually did not. So I'm still kind of on the fence about it. I've had this snowman sitting in my living room for probably about the past 2 weeks, maybe close to 3 weeks. And I still can't decide if I want to give it pink cheeks or not. So you'll have to let me know what you think about that. So I'm going to go ahead and start to assemble my snowman. And so I have this scarf that came from Dollar Tree, and I went ahead and cut it in half just because it was just too thick and it was covering the mouth. But now I'm going to go ahead and start to add my buttons. So I have some scraps of that homespun fabric. So I went ahead and just cut 3 little squares. And I'm going to be using 3 buttons that came from the antique store. And I'm going to go ahead and attach those using some hot glue to my snowman. And then once I have that complete, I'm going to go ahead and stand it back up, or stand her up, because I believe I'm going to say she's a snow woman. So here I am just trying to get my buttons the way I want them. I'm going to go ahead and hot glue those onto my pumpkin, or snowman, excuse me, or snow woman. And I'm going to go ahead and tie my scarf. So here you'll see the scarf is, even with me cutting it in half, it's still a little bit too big. So I did go back and cut the half into another half. And then the rest of the scarf, I went ahead and placed that inside of my hat just to give it some volume. So you'll see me do that here. And I'm going to go ahead and add just a little dab of hot glue on both sides to be able to keep the hat on. And that is going to be it for this. Actually, it's not going to be it for this DIY, sorry. So here I'm just trying to fluff the hat up, and then I decided it needed something else. So I have these picks. I've had these picks for I don't even know how many years, but they came from Joann's. So I decided to use these picks to create my arms. So I went ahead and used my hot glue gun and created some holes, and now I'm going to go ahead and just stick my picks inside to create my arms. And she's so stinking cute. And then I went back and grabbed some of my fairy lights, because if you have been with me since I started my channel, you know that I love to use fairy lights and just about any and everything. So I'm going to go ahead and just apply my fairy lights. I did take it apart, so I'm just going to tape my fairy lights into just different sections into my snow woman. And friends, that is it for today's video. Again, my name is Tawanda, and this is Tawanda's Blessed Life. And on my channel, I do decorating on a budget, DIYs, and hauls with a sprinkle of migraine enlightenment. I also do sister lock updates and lifestyle updates. And if you are new to my channel, welcome. Thank you for stopping by. And if you're already subscribed, thank you for continuing to support my channel. I do really appreciate it.
And we're moving on to our last and final DIY for today. So here I have this Christmas bag. I'm not really sure where I got this bag from, but I have like a set of 4 with different vintage style pictures on them. And then I'm going to use, I have an ornament. That ornament came from Hobby Lobby. And so I ended up taking my one of the coasters and then just kind of tracing out a circle. So here I'm just trying to figure out proper placement to place on the ornament. So I'm going to place it on the back of the ornament. Now I'm going to attach it by adding some Mod Podge. But what I wish I probably should have done was I probably should have put some water on the back of the paper. Here I'm just kind of cutting the edges to kind of get it to fold into place. But what I should have done, and I've done this before when I've used scrapbooking paper, is I would put a little bit of water on the back and kind of rub it off to kind of thin out the paper some, but I did not do that, and I just went ahead and just added it. So I had a hard time with it sticking and staying in place, and it didn't lay down flat like I wanted it to. So here you just see me struggling with that, and so I just decided, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and just tape it to the ornament, which is what I ended up doing. And then I also put, I think I put too much Mod Podge. I probably should have put a little bit less, but I put a lot more because of it being so thick. So like I said, I probably should have just put the water on the back and then rub some of that extra paper off. So here I am just adding some of that faux snow after I taped the picture to the back of my ornament, and then I went back and added some of the golden buff, rub and buff gold onto the top of the ornament, and I also added some gold glitter to the snow. So here I am trying to get off the tape off of the back, which it did get stuck on there a little bit because of course the Mod Podge is kind of everywhere. So as you can see here, this is what it's currently looking like. And then I just used some of the glue gun to remove all of the excess Mod Podge that I had all over the ornament. Once I did that, then I decided I was going to add some of the tinsel stem onto this ornament also. So I decided I was going to layer it with the red and the gold. So I did a layer, a row of red, and I did, I mean, not gold, silver. I did a row of the red, and I did a row of the silver. And then I decided that I was going to add some of that red satin ribbon to go around the edges of the paper or the gift bag. So here I am just adding, using some super glue, I mean some hot glue, and adding the red satin ribbon around the edges just to hold them down. And originally what I wanted to do, and I'm going to probably have to go back to Dollar Tree and see if I can find any of the tinsel stem, because I do believe this, yeah, that's where I got it from. And so if I can find some more, then I'll go back, and I'm just going to go ahead and cover the whole back of the ornament with the tinsel stem. And I'll just kind of layer it between the red and the silver. So hopefully whenever I'm in Dollar Tree, I'll be able to find that with the red and the silver. So I'm just going to do 2 of each just to kind of to cover it, to make it look a little bit nicer. And I probably should have added the tinsel for the hanger on this one also, but I did not. I went ahead and just added the red satin, and that is it for this DIY. And that is going to be it for today's video. Please go ahead and click on the playlist to continue watching all of the lovely crafters videos. And if you like what I am doing, please like, share, and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. And like I always say, be nicer, be kinder. God will love you for it. And I hope you have a blessed day, and I will see you on Sunday. Goodbye.